Good morning. Good morning. Are you frozen?
Hang on, I don't have any audio.
Okay. Dude, I heard you. I heard you now.
Okay, yeah. I have my extra monitor hooked up, and I think I took my audio away.
Okay.
What's
Well,
going
dude,
on?
you wanna bang through this bad boy?
Yeah, dude, let's get it.
Cool. All right, dude. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start off and we're gonna assume that we have all the information. We're gonna go into a file, whatever we're doing estimating on, and then we're going to just throw down a line item, custom, and we're going to call it projected price. Quantity 1, leave it at 0. And the scope of what we're doing today is we're just doing simple TPO overlay.
Okay.
We can nail that, and then we can kind of work into some other stuff. I do think that this will increase your attention to detail on inspections. So with that said, we're going to get started. We have the Jeff Elkins file pulled off the AA Clubhouse. So the first thing pretty much that we need to do is we need some basic measurements. Fortunately for you, I've already pulled some of that stuff over into a Google Sheet, and we know we're going to start off with a very small roof. This roof is 25.66 squares. And just for context, we're only doing this bottom section of the roof. We're going to ignore the middle. We're going to ignore the top. We're going to ignore the metal overlay over here. I wanted to start off with one that you've been on before so you kind of have context of what it looks like, this and that, so we can build off of there. So basically, we would go into the roofer and we would pull the square footage of the roof to the deck, no waste, no fluff, no extra, no nothing. And then we would pull the perimeter. In addition to that, we're going to want to pull the parapet square foot. And what I'm saying when I'm saying parapet square foot, I'm saying the roofing material that covers the walls. It doesn't actually have to be a parapet. So in this example of Jeff Elkins, Jeff Elkins at Pine Road on this specific roof, this wall is the parapet square foot. It is just the membrane that gets turned up, across and up the wall and terminated into the wall. That is what we're considering the parapet square footage. So for the sake of this example, we calculated that we are going to run the membrane 2 foot up the wall, and the wall length is 56 linear feet. So my total parapet square foot coverage is 1.12 squares to take care of that wall. In a normal circumstance, you can use a foot. I needed a little bit more meat on the bone in this example. I know it's still small numbers, but 1 foot up a wall, if the wall like literally is like baseline, like that low, just
that's how the trough at St. Francis was. So I just counted it at 1 foot, which makes your curb, when all your curbs and your perimeter is 1 foot, it's pretty easy because it's just your linear footage of term bar and your material are the same square footage.
Correct. Okay, so do we have square foot, perimeter, parapet square foot? So normally when we get there, then we got to pick the assembly. And for this overview, I have picked the assembly as a basic TPO overlay, but a lot of times that assembly is going to come from the core. Does it have more than one roof? Does it have any R value requirements? Is it tapered? Is it not tapered? What's the deck, etc.? So since it's a TPO overlay, we're going to move straight into the fasteners. That's normally where I start, is the fasteners. So here you can kind of see some breakdowns. First and foremost, you have your ISO plates. Your ISO plate is the plate that screws down the board. The coverage on that is going to be 5 plates per board. Next is the perimeter plates. The way that you install the perimeter is different than how you install the rest of the roof, because you're going to use a 5 by 100 perimeter sheet as opposed to a 10 by 100. And that calls for the fastening pattern of 6 inches over center, which means one fastener for every 6 inches. Next, you have your field plate. Your field plate is 12 inches over center, so one plate per foot. And then your fasteners have to come down at a 1-inch penetration. I normally do this on a piece of paper. I'm going to try to do it on this computer screen for documentation purposes. It's a little bit easier for me to do on a sheet of paper. So with that said, let us do that. So to come up with the ISO plates, what we're going to do is we are going to take the square foot of the roof, which is 25.66, equals 25. Well, we know 2566 square foot. And then we know that each board is a 4x8 board. So I'm going to divide by 32. I'm going to get 81 boards, but I need to put 5% waste on my cover board. Okay, so let me do that first. So 25.66 times 1.05, that gives me my waste for the board. I'm going to push that. That's 5% waste. Then I'm going to convert it back into squares, square foot. So that's 2,700. Now I have a little bit of waste on it. So equals 2,700 divided by 32. That's what I was doing before. So you need, and then you just generally round up when you're dealing with this. So we're going to call this 85 boards. Rounded to 85. And then we're going to take that 85 boards, and then we're going to multiply that by 5 fasteners per board. 425 fasteners. This is a small roof. It seems trivial whenever you're dealing with a small roof, but then we're going to come over here in our material order. All our TPO stuff is in Beacon, like this. Add line item, and then this is going to be, it's going to be insulation plates. So normally, dude, when I'm in them, I just normally write it out because I'm going to need these numbers later. 425 plates. And then in some of the line items that I've made, I have a quantity in them. I started doing that, but it's not in all of them. But your quantity of coverage for these plates is 1,000 per bucket. So you just need 1 plates. This estimate, because the roof is small, might turn into one of these, because it's not really big enough to warrant more coverage. Okay, so we have 425 insulation plates. We know we're going to need to come back to that. Now we have to look at the perimeter. The perimeter is 6 inches over center. I have a perimeter amount of 204. So I'm going to need, how do I do this on a computer? Okay. So I got 204. I have 204 linear foot of perimeter. There's 3 places where you fasten the perimeter. So you're going to take 204 times 3 times 2, because it's 6 inches over center. So how that breaks down is perimeter, then you're fastening it 3 times on the perimeter. You're fastening it once on the edge, once on the outside of the sheet, and once on the lap. So that's 3. And then the 6 inches over center is where the 2 comes from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that gives you 1,224 perimeter plates. And then you come in on your field plates, but you have to have your sheets before you can put the field plates on the roof. So how we're going to do that is we are going to say we're going to take the square foot of the roof, of 25.66. We're going to multiply that by 1.10 for 10% waste. We have 28.22. We're not going to round this. Area with waste. And then we're going to subtract out our perimeter sheets. So our perimeter sheets that we know that we're going to need 3 5x100s because we got 204 linear foot of perimeter. So we are going to take off the decimal 28.226. 28.226. It's like that. And then we're going to subtract out 1,500 because that's the square foot of this right here, the 5x100s. And that's going to give us 1 minus your perimeter. That's going to give us 1322. So we need 2 10x100s to cover it. You follow?
I guess.
All right. So you figure out how much you need total. Then you figure out your perimeter sheets. Then you subtract the square footage of the perimeter sheet.
Okay, I got you.
From the total. Okay. So now I know my sheets. So once I have my sheets, I know that I got 1 screw for every foot. Because of that, I know that I need a maximum of 200 plates. Know what I mean? Like if I use all them sheets, which I'm not, and I'm doing 1 fastener per foot and it's 100 feet, to screw it down, I need 200 feet. Know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that my total plates is this number right here plus this number right here is this. So I need 1,500 or 2,000 depending on the quantity of the box. So now let's go put this in. All right. So now I need my piranha plates. My piranha is what the perimeter and the field screws go through. So the total of that is 1424. 1424. Total plates, 1424. Total plates. They come in a quantity of 1,000. So I need 2 seam plates. Now I need fasteners. So my fasteners is actually going to be this 1424 plus this 425. I got to add them together because the fastener's going through everything. That's the reason why the whole time I'm going through plates and screws, I'm thinking about doing it in this order so I can just add them up when I go to fasteners if all the fasteners are the same.
Yeah.
So this roof, it's got to penetrate by a minimum of 1 inch. So let's say you took a 3.5-inch core, you would need 5-inch fasteners. So we're going to go down to fastener 5, and the quantity of the box is 500. I don't remember what the core was. Okay. So we are going to add this 425 plus this 1424. That's going to give us our fastener count. 1424 plus 425 equals this plus 425 is 1809 for your total fasteners. So I'm just going to throw this right here. 1809 total fasteners. It's sold in boxes of 500, so I need 4 of those bad boys. All right. So we did our sheets already. We know that we need 3 sheets for the perimeter. That's 3 because we did that in the screw count. The screw count and the sheet count is kind of all at the same time. And then we also need 10 by 100. Your 10 by 100, please be mindful that there's 2 line items for TPO. One is fleece back. The other one is not. Fleece back is $12.50 a roll. Regular TPO is $7.50 a roll. So make sure you don't use fleece back if it's not supposed to be there. We need 2 of those. Okay. Now we need corners. We need corners. To find the corners, we're going to look at an overview of the roof, and we're going to pick corners. So corners is generally an inside or an outside corner, and you can kind of consider it like maybe on the bottom, maybe on the top. Like corners are a good thing that we should have on site. So let's say this roof has 2 curbs or 2. Let's look at the freaking pictures. Let's see what it actually needs. Does this thing need corners at all? This is 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is the beginning photos? Okay. That's an outside corner. So 1. We're going to go 1 on the other side. That's 2. We're going to call those outside corners. So 2 outside corners. 4 inside corners so far. 8 inside corners so far. And then you have the trough. So we'll go 4 outside corners. We'll go 4 outside corners, 8 inside corners. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So 4 plus 8 is 12. Duralast has custom corners. TPO does not. So we're just putting 12 corners. Detail membrane. Detail membrane is generally you always want 1 roll of detail membrane on everything. That's what you do the curbs with. You do the curbs with detail membrane, so we're going to do 1 of those. If you had a bunch of curbs, you'd have more detail membrane. So when we talk about linear foot of curbs, when we talk about curbs is corners and detail membrane. Like if you got skylights, that's corners and detail membrane. And having the linear foot to know like, hey, I got, 250 linear foot of curb on this thing. We might say, okay, let's put more detail membrane on the ground to make sure that we can curb that up, do it quick, do it the right way. Okay. So detail membrane, we got 1. T-joints, that's just those little boxes of like little circles. Generally, those go on every job. I don't really have a calculation for those. This is a small roof, so I'm going to give 50. They're $1.05 each. Not a big deal. There's 2 line items in the system for T-joints. 1 is TPO, 1 is PVC. Be careful on which one that you pick. Okay, now we got to think about the edge. The edge is very important, and that's something that's often missed. We might talk about the flashing scope. We might talk about what are we doing for the edge type shit. So we know on this thing that we had a square of parapet, but we had extra 5 by 100. We had extra 10 by 100 in this example, I missed adding it, but I know that I had a lot of waste. So I'm gonna go back to that. So my perimeter was 204 square foot. I got 3 5x100, so I'm cutting off most of that other roll, and I'm using that on the perimeter wall. If I didn't have that, for whatever reason, this number was still 1402, so I still got roughly 5 squares of membrane that I can stick on that wall. So I normally do the sheets first and then think about where I am on waste. And then if it's a small roof, a lot of times I can reallocate my waste over to cover a square or two. But once those parapets become 30 and 40 squares, I can't do that no more, and I just got to add it in. So edge is important. The edge is important, so let's figure out what are we doing on this edge. So we're overlaying this roof. We're not removing and replacing this roof. So we're going to overlay it so we know that we're running into a gutter. So we're going to need cover tape on all the perimeter except for where the roof meets the wall. And we're going to use a wood nailer around the outside, and we're going to put drip edge on top of it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I need to do is, now that I said wood nailer out loud, I know that most things have a Lowe's trip to them. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here now. I'm just going to go custom, and I'm going to say wood nailer for perimeter edge. Wood nailer for perimeter edge. And then it's going to be, $100 probably. Okay. So I got that. That's my wood nailer. Now I'm going to do my drip edge. Drip edge is normally, it's going to be cut from a metal store. You never use stock drip edge from SRS, ABC, or Beacon on a freaking flat roof, on a commercial flat roof. Don't do it. It's thin. It's shitty. It's bad. If your competition does that, dude, you need to teabag them. Bad, dude. Real bad. Okay. So we got the drip edge. So the drip edge, and it's linked to the gutter, it's probably going to have to be measured on site. If we're trying to turn a job real quick, we got to make sure that we measure it prior. But let's just be mindful that the distance, the height of the nailer and the lip of the drip edge and how it interacts with the gutter and how much space you have, it's got to be custom for those reasons by itself. So my perimeter was 202. I'm subtracting out 56 on the wall. I'm not picking up my phone doing this. So 202 minus 56 on the wall. So I'm 146. So I'm going to need 16 sticks of drip edge. I'm putting waste on there. I'm giving a couple more sticks. So my drip edge is going to be 16 sticks of drip edge. And then also my cover tape is going to be, this comes in 100 linear foot sections. So that's 2 rolls of cover tape. So I got my nailer, I got my drip edge, I got my cover tape. I need my primer to prime the cover tape. Do I have a line item for primer? I have one for Carlisle. Mixing the manufacturer, dude, it's not really a killer. We know we're doing GAF in this specific example. We're just trying to come up with the price. So boom, we got some primer. So we got some primer. We got the wall. We got the parapet thing. Now we know we're fastening the TPO into the wall. So we're fastening the TPO into the wall. We're going to fasten it with what? We're going to fasten it with turn bar. So I know that the wall's 56 linear feet. I know that I'm going to need 6 turn bar for the wall. And then this is where I'm coming back to the curbs again, because the curbs, I'm turn barring that too. So on this small roof, I know that I had 8 corners, and the 8 corners, am I going the right way? So I'm turn barring that. So that's 2, 2, 2, 2. That's 8. And then the other one is 2, 2, 2, 2. That's 8. So I needed 6. Add 2 more. So I only need 8 sticks of turn bar. 8 on turn bar. Okay, so now turn bar has a water block behind it. So my water block behind the turn bar is technically supposed to be 1 tube for each stick, but a lot of times, dude, I short it by just a little bit. So I'm going to say 6. 6 on the water block. That goes behind the turn bar. And then on that goes over the turn bar is the GAF Flex Seal. It turns into a lot of sealant if you do it 1 and 1 for every linear foot. So I reduced it a little bit. Okay, cool. So we got that. So we got our edge. We got the turn bar. We don't have the flashing. So the flashing, ideally, we want to counter over the turn bar. You follow? Okay. So we need to do that. So the flashing for the counter comes from a metal store. So I got a Metal Mart. And I did say you never buy the drip edge from Beacon. So that's why there's normally a metal supplier on there too. And then do I have a counter flashing line item? I don't. So I'm going to go custom. And I'm going to run this at $3.15 a linear foot. Anywhere between $2.90 and $3.50 is about what it's going to cost to break trim. Without calling the metal store, bro, and knowing like exactly what the trim is, we're really just kind of guessing. Like, I don't know if it's $3.55. I don't know if it's $2.85. It ain't a big roof. If it was a massive roof, we could call and figure out what the exact dollar amount of the trim is. So you saw me throw $3.15 in. Don't get caught up and think that like, oh, well, counters this and this is that. Like, I'm just pulling a number to know that we got to flash that thing. So this is counter flashing for brick wall at 56 linear feet. So I'm going to need 60, because it comes in 10-foot sections, linear foot of counter flashing. And the drip edge was 16. So now I'm removing this from the Beacon order. I just needed to come up with the number. So I'm removing that from the Beacon order because that's not coming from Beacon. I'm putting this in the Metal Mart order. It was 16, so it's 160. The other one was per piece. Now we're going per foot. This says $3.55. Whatever. On most orders, you're going to spend about $1,000 at the metal store. Okay. So our edge is done. We've thought about the edge. We've thought about the wall terminations. We've thought about how we're going to flash it. We've thought about the sealants behind it. Now we're going cleaner and rags. So for cleaner and rags, what we're going to do here is we're going to go back into our beacon order, and we're going to go cleaner. Cleaner is 1 gallon for every 25 squares. This roof is roughly 25 squares. We're going to say one of those, and then we're going to say a box of rags. The other thing that Renee Daigle tells us always to order is the cut edge. The subs say they don't use it. I just put a very small amount on each order because I think they're supposed to use it or whatever. It's $25 for a pint. Then you need the components. So we've kind of moved through the whole thing. Now we're just on cleanup. We're on the components. Our component count on this thing is whatever comes in from the component count from the system. Let's say this is underneath here. You're going to have a slip sheet underneath that thing. Is that a freaking pitch pan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is a pitch pan. That's a pitch pan. Let's pretend those are pitch pans. And
there should be a component count in the notes.
There's a component count in the notes.
There it is.
3 roof jacks, 5 pipe boots, 2 goosenecks, 3 large exhaust vents, 2 HVAC pitch pan. There it is, pitch pan. Okay, great. Awesome. You did get the pitch pan. That makes me happy. Okay, so pitch pan is pitch pan. It's going to give you the actual flashing. It is not going to give you the portable sealer to fill it. So we need 2 of those. Then we're going to need the portable sealer. Portable sealer is 1 for every 1 thing of portable sealer covers 2 pitch pans or drains. You're going to use portable sealer inside of drains. You're going to use water block under the pipe boots. So we're going to go 1 portable sealer. So we have that. I'm just taking the rest of the component count off the notes like you told me to. So 3 roof jacks. So to get the roof jack, I'm going to just say jack. And it's going to give me a jack because that's what we call them is jacks.
Jacks.
And then we're going to say boots. Boot is kind of hard to find. You have to hit the S to find the boots. It's GAF boots 1 to 6. And your component count says 3. And a split boot. So we're going to go with 3 here for the regular pipe boot. And then for the split boot, we're going to call that custom. And then we're just going to call this TPO split boot for open wrap around boot. You follow? You're going to wrap it and weld it. Throw in a number that kind of feels safe, 55. And, dude, I mean, outside of that, unless there's, like, weird deals, like, I mean, we looked through the pictures one more time. We got detail membrane for that. We got the components. We got your roof jacks. This right here, yeah, we need these. We need a boot for that. It's gonna end up being the same thing as the split boot because you're gonna wrap it around. So you got 1, 2. You got 2. So we're just gonna come into here and we're gonna change this 1 to 3. So now we got that covered. And then we're just sitting here thinking about this bad boy for a minute. You got this trough. This trough, dude, you're going to hit with waste, and like y'all might have a little bit of waste in the shop. Okay. I normally always I go back to the Lowe's order, and you might have noticed there's never screws for the turn bar. So you come in here and you go custom, and you go little screws for turn bar, $45. And then lastly is a wood block. Wood block for lines. So your wood block for lines is that. Dude, there's a piece of wood right there. So it's your last roofer on Forsyth put his shit on insulation. Like, why don't we just get
You love that.
Yeah, dude, we do love that.
Hey, did you see where I sent you the video of them doing that geometric roof before they put that black shit on there, like them spraying the foam?
I want to see it.
It's on Facebook. I sent it to you.
Dude, I need to watch the video.
Yeah, you get to see the whole thing of how they do their shit.
So, wood nailer, little screws, wood blocks. You normally always have this allocation right here of at least $250 on a little roof. You at least got that on there. So now your metal's done, your order's done, your Lowe's is done. Now we add warranty registration. So warranty registration is the NDL thing. If we're doing NDL, so it's NDL warranty minimum $1,000 or 10 cents per square foot. So 10 cents a square foot. If it's 150 squares, it'd be 1,500. On this thing, it would be the warranty registration minimum of 1,000. This item is not taxed, I don't think. So sometimes you just have to be mindful that tax hits the material side, but it does not hit the labor side. So I'm assuming that $1,000 is not taxed, so I normally zero the tax out of it. Next, you're going to need equipment. Your equipment rental. Your equipment rental is going to be your boom lift. Ultimately, the only thing you need a lift for on this roof is to get the dang insulation up there. So like this one's so easy, dude. You need the lift for a day. Lift for 1 day. But if it rains or something weird happens, you might need it for a week. Normally, never go lower than a week. It's either a week or a month. It's never any different than that. So we're just gonna say $1,000 because maybe it might be 800. Like this is one of those circumstances to where if we're trying to get lower, like you or Justin or like somebody else would have to like call around and figure out how to get your lift price lower and think out the job all the way. Because as you can see with the TPO stuff, like, bro, you got a warranty registration minimum, you got flashing, you got Lowe's, you got equipment. Like that by nature, by itself, makes it more expensive than modified. Just kind of right off the rip. The last other thing you need on the material side is if we're doing it in-house and the guys are traveling, you need hotel, but it's dump. You got to have a dump. For an overlay of this size, you're going to do a small dump. So there's one dumpster line item. I normally use Junket Dumpster. It's about $425. I normally add Porta John into like the back of the dumpster or something like that. Change it to $575. Now everybody's got a place to poop and go from there. Materials done. Let's go labor. Labor, you can't get a labor price until you know the scope. right? You got to be able to tell the guys, hey, I am doing a TPO overlay with this many linear foot of flashing, blah, 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 blah. You have to be able to say that. So now that I know my measurements, I know that this roof, the way that TPO waste works is you're charged by the roll, okay? So you're charged by what the guys open, right? So we know on this thing, back to our rolls, that we're ordering 5 by 100, so that's 15 squares, and then 10 two 10 by 100s. So this is 35 squares of material that's hitting the ground. So the max you're going to be charged labor. So you have 3 5 by 100s and 2 10 by 100s equals 35 square of material. So you're at 35 squares of material. And then at your price of whatever your subs say it is. So let's say, who are you using? Joey Crawford?
Never. Nick Fuentes.
Joey Crawford's going to hit you $350 a square. But we ain't using Joey Crawford. We're going to use old Nico, dude. Nico's going to come down, dude, pop you for $220.
Oh.
It's just a small job, dude. Let Nico live a little bit, dude. $250, right? $250. Still a little high, dude, but whatever. $250. His guy's got to sleep. $250 a square. Then you got to put the flashing too, though. We know that we have 60 linear foot of flashing detail. So 60 linear feet times 5.5 is the extra $330. Dude, I think that's it.
That's it.
Okay, so the last thing that you do is, because you did projected price, you come over here, you put on the margin, you call this bad boy 40%. $33,000.
That's too cheap, dude.
Dude, the modified for the all 3 roofs was $30,000. With TPO, bro, it goes down with size. Once you get bigger, the price per square like drops a lot. Because think about it, like your lift, your warranty registration, your lows, your setup charges, then like the way that the components work, like the way your edge details work, like when it gets big, you don't have cover tape in the middle. You don't have drip edge in the middle. Whenever you deal with small roofs, your TPO is very expensive. But whenever you deal with big roofs, it gets cheaper than modified. So if you're on a small roof, modified is going to be cheaper. But as the modified gets bigger, the price like kind of stays stagnant. And there is a point to where TPO becomes the better option. Make sense?
Yeah.
So we know that this roof was projected price was 26 squares. And dude, there is a way to cut it down a little bit by like really thinking out the sheets. I could probably short it by a 5 by 100 or use all 5s. I'm not that good to be able to look at it and say, hey, let's use all 5s on this to be more efficient. But yeah. I think that if you switched everything to 5 by 100s, it would be cheaper. So your projected price at 26 squares to the deck is, I'm not going to use my calculator, is this. So let's go over to the single ply cost sheet. And then we're going to call this small roof Jeff Elkins. We did this November 2025. The roof is 26 squares. The material cost by itself, all in on everything, is $10,000. And I don't have any fuck ups in here, do I? No. The material cost is 10 grand. So my price per square on material is $421 a square. That includes mats, lift,
Porta John,
dump, registration, mechanically fastened. This is an overlay too. Overlay. So our price is $33,500. Our price is $33,500. So our price per square is almost $1,300. Labor was $250, Nicholas. And so let me go over this sheet with you and then we'll be done. All right. Dude, you can kind of be safe on like a normal job. Like if it's like 50 squares, to tell them TPO might be between 1,000 and 1,200 a square. Like you can say that out loud. If it's small, like 50 squares, like dude, I'm saying small because like the lifts and the edge detail and the Indio registrations, like it just makes it more expensive per square. That's for an overlay. All right. Once you get big, you drop into 100, 226, 283, 201. I'm consistently hitting under 900 on an overlay, like between 850 and 900. That's where it normally ends up, and that's all in. You know what I mean? That's parapet walls, cover tape, dumps, lows, slip flashing, weird taxes, like that. That's where everything's kind of falling out. Your material, when it's big, hovers around 300. When it's real small, it jacks up into like 400, 430, 421. So, dude, maybe these summary sheets are like kind of helpful. I've been kind of just keeping track of everything that we're doing. There are ways to like make the system. Oh, dude, we never put ISO on that motherfucker.
It didn't have ISO right now though.
But you got to put ISO down to overlay it.
ISO and coverboard, or just ISO?
No, we never put coverboard.
I know.
We went plates.
Mm-hmm.
We went plates, screws.
You ruined the whole training, dude. Now you just ruined it.
Nah, see, it's easy. Now that we got it like this, and then we did our work, bro. Like we know that our ISO. We need 85 boards. We need 85 boards because we showed our work. So our ISO, we're just going to hit it with 1-inch ISO. And look, the reason why is 1-inch ISO is $63. 1-inch ISO, $63. 1/2-inch ISO is $85.
Wow, that doesn't make sense.
Structo deck not NDL compliant, you're not supposed to use this, is $38. Hoverboard is $90. So, I mean, dude, it's all kind of about the same. When we go over it, dude, we just would use 1-inch ISO, most likely.
Because it's cheaper than half the material somehow.
Flute fill is $43. But to flute fill, you got to flute fill first, and then you got to put in your ISO 1. So your total to flute fill is going to be 43 plus 63 on the insulation. You know what I mean? So basically, like this step right here of like, this is what your core is all about. We're just figuring out how to plug and play these numbers. So if somebody told you, Chase, is there anything you can get lower, blah, 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 you can say, bro, do you want the NDL warranty registration or not? Is that a big deal to you? Like, I'm a good roofer. Like, I can warranty your work, but we can strip the NDL. We can change the ISO to Structo deck. Like, we can do that. Then you can change the edge detail. You can make a lot of things on this roof cheaper by doing it the wrong way. Not the wrong way, but just the
not by manufacturer specification.
So let's talk about that, unless you got to go. Forsyth Shopping Center. This is not a great example to look at because his is super messy.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he got the NDL.
Huh?
I'm going to say he didn't get the NDL.
So I need more pictures of edge detail in general because this is a way. This. You see it?
Yeah, dude, you love that.
What is that?
That's turn bar.
Turn bar. All right. So look.
No turn bar in between. It skipped a little bit, you know?
And his is real bad. But your Boys and Girls Club that from El Dorado, and I told Robert, dude, we need better pictures. That's turn bar on the edge.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
Turn bar on the edge.
So, like, when you're walking through the sections, like doing the perimeter thing, we need zoomed-in pictures of the edge at every transition, essentially. Like, every corner, anywhere, you need, like, detailed pictures of that edge.
Yes and no. You're ultimately making a decision. You're making a decision. And if you told me, oh, Burn, no NDL, turn bar the outside, I got good pictures, I want Structo deck, like, all right, know what I mean? Like, let's roll. Because then you ain't got to hit the perimeter 6 inches over center. Then you don't got no cover tape. Then you don't got your metal. Then you remove the counter out of the outside. All that other stuff that's to spec ain't in there no more. And then the price drops depending on size. We hover around the $700, $750 range. You can pretty much say TPO might be, if we're dealing with size, $750 a square non-NDL or $800 a square non-NDL if you want to be safe. But when you get into the NDL range, it's going to trend up into $850, $900 on an overlay. Because once you start double fastening the perimeter, once you're dealing with a building height that's higher, like you can cut. So if you're not having the conversation about NDL stuff, like start asking. You know what I mean? Like, it would be cool. And if they say price it both ways, like, I mean, I guess we could. That's kind of a bitch because, like, then we got to redo the screw count.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
we should sit down on one day and get, like, as we move forward, we'll get our median pricing on it where we can start just shooting from the hip. That's all these big outfits do. They're just throwing they're doing it and throwing it into a square bracket and throwing rough estimates out. That's the only way they're doing it quick enough.
Yeah, and dude, it doesn't really take a long time to do all this. It takes a long time when it's a tear off. It takes a long time when it's a tear off, and it takes a long time when it's we don't have all the information.
Yeah.
So, dude, I hope that this helps you a little bit. I do have this sheet that I'm working on the back end with some median pricing, and at the very least, now you kind of can shoot from the hip a little.
For sure, man. For sure. On smaller stuff, at least that would free you up a lot.
Budgetary, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Cool. Well, dude, if you like it, I love it.
I'm good, dude. I'm good. I got notes here to study. I doubt I'd be able to do like a full estimate right off the rip, but
at least you know some baseline pricing.
That's it, dude.
And you have the recording of this, and I also have another recording of this. If you're in a bind.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Are you in school? Have you ever seen this before?
Hang on, you froze up on my end. No, I've not seen that before.
So I'm going to invite you to it. Chase at brownsroofingla.com. Accept that invitation for me, and then I'll direct you to this video if you're ever caught in a pinch without me. You in?
I'm in.
All right. So classroom, commercial estimating. So I can give you the course now.
Oh, so I gotta add my bio and upload a photo and all that.
Residential roof training, multi-trade, give you commercial sales CRM, commercial business development, Xactimate. That's probably good. Yeah, so specifically commercial estimating, and it's got loading products into the CRM, TPO ordering and estimating, updating CRM pricing. Yeah, it's got a video. TPO overlay in CRM. That's the video with what we did today.
Okay, cool.
All right, bro. What you doing before the end of the day?
I'm about to go get these charity hams to my buddy. I heard him just pull up, and then I gotta go inspect. John Kelly called me about Intermountain Management having a leak, so I gotta go inspect that. Get them a little proposal.
Dude, hit me up.
All right, man.